other side of your home. If you have speakers, you should turn them down. If I have to mute the mic, I will. I think there's only 2 of you here right now, so if it's really just like completely obnoxious and unbearable, please let me know. And I will mute the mic when I have to grind the coffee. But the first step, and I should probably bring this a little bit more into view here, is to weigh the coffee. So I use 18 grams of coffee to 300 grams of water when I do my brews. So you'll see later, and I just got this coffee. I just opened it today. So we got Cara. I don't even know what that is. See, when it comes to tasting notes, I'm gonna be honest with you guys, even I'm not super knowledgeable on tasting notes. And if I drink this coffee, I probably wouldn't be able to pick these tasting notes out of it, except maybe cinnamon. Cinnamon I might be able to figure out, but without reading them in advance, right? So that's something I want to get into at some point, learning a little bit more about like how to assess flavor notes. A big part of that is drinking it black, though, because if you put stuff in your coffee like sugar or cream, or if it's a latte, although espresso is different, it will change the flavor overall. All right. Step 2. My good friend and coworker was very kind to lend me his electric kettle. And I'm going to be honest with you guys. It is the existence of this electric kettle that is making this whole thing possible. Or else I would not be able to boil water upstairs. So, I use spring water. I'm actually going to use the glass bottle first because it's more annoying to deal with. The one I prefer is Aquapana. This is just the brand that I like there, you know. I've tried other brands of spring water that are also really good, but the reason why you want to use spring water when you're brewing coffee, people's making me say coffee when I'm talking about coffee. I guess it's fitting, coffee, right? Even my name is Joe Coffee, so there we go. Although I need a timer, hold on. I need to get a fancy timer, like what Yuki has, but I'm scuffed and I don't have that. So I will run my own timer for now, coffee. But, so spring water will, here, I'll put it more in view here. This is why I have 2 cameras, actually, because I can just hold it up, too. But, coffee. But spring water will catch more of the, or rather the minerals will catch on more of the grounds in the coffee. Show us the ugly mug. Alright, coffee. Man, just be careful about this, Boople. Well, I can't believe I actually have to say this, coffee. But once I start brewing, I will not be able to move the mug, because I'll be brewing into the mug, coffee. But since Ayame is here, I'll show her the ugly mug. So Ayame, this is the ugly mug. I don't know if you've seen this before. I think it's a masterpiece, right? It's gonna be what I drink my coffee from today. Coffee. The idea behind this bad boy coffee is that I'm gonna do like a chatting stream or a podcast segment coffee or something like that called Ugly Mug. And while I'm on this podcast coffee, I will be drinking coffee from my ugly mug while on Ugly Mug coffee. Okay, so back to what I was saying. Coffee. Spring water is best for brewing coffee and possibly even tea too. I'm not sure about this, so don't quote me on that one, coffee. But the minerals interact more with the grounds coffee, and so it pulls more of the flavor and the things you want out of the coffee out of there and into the final brew. So that's the main advantage to using spring water coffee. We're gonna go for about 450 grams here, coffee, just to give myself like a little bit of extra for like preheating and stuff. Coffee. Oh, we got Splash Zone. Feels really, really weird, guys, coffee, to be brewing coffee at my desk like this. So generally I use the sink to rinse my spoons, but I'm not able to relocate a sink into my bedroom. So I've gotten a bowl of hot water here. That's going to be off to the side. And the bowl of hot water is how I'm going to rinse stuff off if I need to. Okay. I am not too certain. Let's see if I can adjust this a little bit maybe. I'm not too certain how easy this is going to be to see, because this is new to me. Well, let's just give this a shot. If this is too bright, I can adjust the brightness of the ring light if we think that might help. But the first thing you want to do is preheat your filter. This kind of like makes sure that you can wash all the paper flavor out of the filter before you use it, because ultimately you are still brewing coffee through paper. And this also warms the brewer a little bit. Now, since I have plastic, it's not as big of a deal on this one, because the heat doesn't really cling to it. But, and you know what? My preheat water gets to go in this bowl too, because I need somewhere to put it. Alright, and then you obviously would want to dump the water out. So the first step here, let me get my phone out, so I make sure I do this right. The first step is Teddy. Hello, I've kind of been trying to delay, man. We're just now starting the first brew. I've done a lot of talking and kind of gone a little bit slow because I wanted to give people a chance to show up. Let me see here. So the first phase that you'll encounter, or you'll run into with pour over, is called the bloom phase, and it's pretty short. For me, it's 36 grams of coffee, and it goes for 45 seconds. Now, hopefully I went a little over. Hopefully you guys will be able to see because of the camera here. Let me give this a little swirl. It's gonna release gases and stuff from the coffee, right? Immediately when the hot water hits it, it's gonna create stuff. There'll be little bubbles, right? So the idea of the bloom phase is you want to let all of that get out before you continue brewing the coffee, right? So after 45 seconds, which we're about to hit here, we're going to go for the second pour. And for this one, there's a swirl motion. So you're kind of going to hit all the coffee. And I'm going to be looking at it here more than the camera. And for his method anyways, it is a timed thing. I try to get as close to I can as possible. Which is 180 grams by 115, or by 115, by a minute and 15 seconds. So we're going to be pretty close here. And then we'll pour straight down the middle for the second portion of this. And this is going to go to 300 grams of coffee, or 300 grams of water, which is the final amount we'll reach. And we want to hit that around a minute and 45 seconds. Just like that. Alright, I'm not used to this kettle yet. And then, you got your trusty spoon. We'll stir this. We kind of want to hit the edges here to get the grounds off the side. And then we're going to swirl this to kind of catch the rest, right? And now this last part's the drawdown phase, right? Now, during the drawdown phase, basically the water is going to make the rest of its way through the bed of coffee. And then it's going to make its way right on through to the bottom. This one was a little fast, so I probably could have ground this a little bit finer, and that it would have been a little bit more of the time that I'm looking for. But what does look pretty good here is the coffee bed, so I'll just go ahead and show this to you guys really quick. So So here's the bed of coffee. Generally, you want this to not look muddy, which as you can see here, it doesn't. It looks like it's fallen through pretty well. And the flatter it is, the better. Flatter the coffee bed is, the more uniform of a brew you get, right? Because if it's like lopsided, there will be periods of time where the water is hitting coffee on one side, but it's not hitting coffee on the other side. So generally, the flatter it gets, and this is the one for me, right here.